It started in the streets of Queens. I was making hats, tie-top hats. And I was selling those because I couldn't find any place to buy those. So I was selling about $20 a piece, and people started to like this product. And then I created the name FUBU, which was for us, by us. And, you know, I was frustrated because a lot of the designers would never admit that they sold the product to the hip-hop market, to our generation. And what I did was I took about 10 shirts. And at that time, videos were really starting to become, you know, the thing in the market. Sure. And I took those 10 shirts, and for 3 years, I would take that shirt and go put it on a wrapper, and then put it on another wrapper, take it back, put it on another wrapper, take it back, go on a date with it, take it back, dry clean it. And I put it on a bunch of videos. About 3 years later, when I was working at Red Lobster, people would come up to me and say, "Wow, you're the FUBU guy. That company's huge."
You were working at Red Lobster? And
I was working at Red Lobster. I was starting to get interviews.
On these famous people.
Sure, I was starting to get interviews, right? And then these 10 shirts were in 30 videos. It was this huge company as far as everybody was concerned, but it was only 10 shirts.
How did you get these on these celebrities if they didn't know who you were?
Well, I was lucky enough to grow up in Hollis, Queens, and people like the famous video director Hype Williams lived there, and Irv Gotti, and a lot of us went on tours because LL Cool J and Run DMC were from there. So we would go and push the boxes and be roadies on the tours. So we started being very familiar with the rappers at that point, and that's how I kind of knew where the videos are being shot.
So you seem like you have a real emotional story to how this all began. You really did struggle in the beginning to make it all happen. 3 years.
Oh, that was just the beginning of it. That was 3 years there, and then I mortgaged my house that I lived in with my mother. I took all the furniture out in the yard and burned it, and brought sewing machines in, and had a factory, a commercial factory in the middle of a residential area. Probably was about 3 weeks prior to losing the home and everything else before I ended up getting a distribution deal. It's a great roller coaster story, but I love it.
Did a shark of some kind come into your life to make it possible to get that deal?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So did you have to go in and make the pitches that now you're seeing every week?
You know what? I would have failed if I was on the show, because I got turned down by about 27 banks. And then I put an order in, I put a ad in the New York Times, and it said something like $1 million in financing, need orders and cash. About 30 people called me to give me the money, but about 29 of them were mobsters. They were giving me deals I couldn't take. These 10 shirts were in 30 videos. It was this huge company as far as everybody was concerned, but it was only 10 shirts.